Howard Brown Jr. trains right here at Parks. Brown can remember being around racing very early on.
I was brought up in Detroit, born in North Carolina. My father bet horses. He took me to the track a lot. When I got out of high school, college didn't work to start with for me, so I went to the track, went to work for Jack Van Berg, learned my trade well, worked 2 years for him.
Legendary Hall of Fame trainer Jack Van Berg gave Howard Brown useful advice. He
always said that if nobody claims your horses, nobody likes them, so why should you like them? He also said you can be broke anywhere in the world, so pick a good spot. I knew I wanted to train horses when I went to work for him, so I asked him a lot of questions. Well, he fired me 10 times, and I said to him, Mr. Jack, I'm here to learn how to train horses, and I can't find anybody better to learn from than you. Okay, you're hired again. When I went to work for him, Billy Mott was galloping horses for him. Wayne Catalino was galloping horses for him, and he became a bug boy. And we won 105 races in Detroit that summer. So everybody had 2 pockets full of money, and I thought the game was as easy as can be.
Where did the training career start for Howard Brown?
I got my first trainer's license at Cahokie Downs in Illinois. Went back to Detroit the next year, had a few horses for my father and I. And from there we went to Latonia, went to Boston 1 year. I came out here a couple times. As a groom, I worked for Glenn Hill, who was a really good trainer, learned a whole lot from him. I worked for David Vance, who's another Hall of Famer. You can always learn something from anybody in this business, even if they're not a trainer.
For a trainer, the day starts very early in the morning. But Brown also has a long day after the races.
I wake up at 3 o'clock every morning. I cook myself bacon and eggs every morning. I get in the car about 3:45, stop and get a coffee on the way here. It's an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. And then when I get done, I drive home. Sometimes it's an hour and a half, sometimes it's 2.5 hours.
Howard Brown Jr. has experienced many owners throughout his career.
Owners are just like horses. They're all different. Some of them are more demanding than others. Some of them let you do what you think's best. And you know, some of them pay you on time, some of them don't pay you at all.
Brown and his communication with the jockey starts in the morning, but he keeps it simple before the race.
Well, I try to use really good riders. So, like I used Kendrick the other day, and when he came out, I said, Kendrick, you know, you didn't stop at the barn to tell me how to train this one, so I'm not going to tell you how to ride him. We're just ready to win. He said, okay, Mr. Brown. He always calls me Mr. Brown. And we've won several races together. Ruben, I usually don't give a whole lot of instructions for the simple reason that what happens if your horse breaks bad? What happens if you break on top and you're not really a front runner, but everybody else wants to be behind you? You know, I always tell them to ride the race the way it comes up.
Howard Brown remembered a couple Hall of Fame jockeys from early on in his career.
I always liked Sandy Holly from Canada. He came to Hot Springs when I was rubbing horses, and I liked him. Julie Crone was fabulous. They seemed to make the right decision at the right time. Weren't afraid to come through on the rail. Didn't go wide all the time. Some of your riders, they go wide all the time. Julie Crone was one of the gamest riders I ever seen. She'd come through on the rail all the time. And you know, I love riders that can go to the front and slow the pace down, and every time a horse comes to them, they open up another length, and then they reach and get them again. And, you know, it's an art.
What races does Brown look at towards the future of his barn?
Yeah, I just wonder how I can win another one. You know, it's, I'm never too high and I'm never too low. I don't get too concerned because I know what I do works.
Brown can still teach young trainers, like this story about Everton Smith, a simple lesson about horse racing.
I never knew him, but he won the first race he run. And man, they were catching high fives and screaming and yelling. And I just walked up to him and introduced myself to him. And I said, Everett, I want to let you know one thing. this game ain't as easy as it looked today. And to this day, once in a while, me and him are good friends now, he walks up and says to me, boy, were you ever right. This is a tough way to make an easy living. And, you know, that's one of the stories that I'll never forget that. And I don't think he will either.
His straightforward, honest demeanor is who trainer Howard Roger Brown Jr. is.
You know, I'm so passionate about what I do. When I wake up in the morning, there's always something at this barn I gotta see. You know, whether a horse run yesterday and I need to see how he come back. I worked a horse, I gotta see how he came back. I wanna know, did they eat? There's always something that excites you.